Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Volume 1 by Hirohiko Araki. And this is the first manga review I've done on my channel. And I'm kind of excited. This actually isn't my all-time favorite manga. I wanted to kind of do a classic, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure being one of, I think, currently the oldest running manga right now, is definitely a classic. I think most people know JoJo for the memes and the references on the internet, but yeah, it's a very very long running manga more before all of that stuff came out. Obviously, the anime is amazing. You can catch it on Hulu. I believe the first two parts on Netflix, and obviously Crunchyroll, and I think Viz's own website. You can catch it. But this is the manga. This is the one that started it all, and it's pretty an interesting read. So, setting is 1880 in London. Obviously, this is a manga, so it reads opposite. You start from the back and read right to left. Yeah, JoJo is really well known for these sort of Japanese sound effects that come across. It's kind of one of the trademarks of the series. Yeah, I really like how this is colored, and God, I really wish the rest of this was colored because I think JoJo looks really nice with this sort of low-key coloring. But they don't do it, so this is sort of an introduction of the stone mask, which is a reoccurring little item in the series, and its creation. You get introduced to JoJo's father, who is rescued. By this shady little character. This is actually this is Dio's father. Who Dio is the primary antagonist of the series, and for many other series afterwards. When I was kind of reading through this, what I really was thinking of, I've just been recently watching The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, and what blew me away was Disney finally building up characters, making them go through conflict, making them go through struggles. The Mandalorian barely speaks in his freaking series, but I already like him a million times more than Rey from Star Wars because he has to go through so much shit, and you kind of go with him. And the same thing is kind of true. Even the villains in this story are like Dio is obviously, for those who follow the series, he's a kind of a piece of crap that you'll. Villain that you'll deal with that the main character, I should say, deals with as you go through the series. But his background's actually somewhat, troubling, and you kind of understand how he came to be, even though he is a piece of crap. The same thing is true, definitely, for the main protagonist. So Dio's dad saves JoJo, or Jonathan Joestar, who's the protagonist of the story's father, and as sort of repayment, and and also as a matter of honor, JoJo's father adopts Dio when Dio's dad dies, and Dio, is kind of a piece of shit, so he pretty much has his plan to basically ruin Jonathan's life and take over his fortune. And yeah, man, Jonathan goes through just all kinds of freaking deals right here. Where's that one picture? That picture was freaking great. Yeah, oh man, this kind of has some Hajime no Ippo. No, actually, no, not Hajime. What is it? Ashita no Joe, which is Tomorrow's Joe, which is another famous manga series. I believe that came before JoJo. Very famous boxing one. People actually, in Japan, it's actually a really really big deal for the old long-time manga fans. And this is kind of like really cool scenes that kind of reminds me of that manga. Yeah, man. Yeah, you really. So Jonathan Joestar is kind of a rich brat in the beginning of this story. And you look at him, and you're sort of like, okay, he's rich, he's got a wealthy dad and a big estate in the English countryside. Why do I care about this character? And Araki does such a great job of making him go through all kinds of shit. Like his life goes freaking south real fast, and there's some pretty dark moments in this And there's one revolving a dog that really bummed me out. I really like dogs, so it kind of bummed me out when I went through that scene right there. But yeah, he does a masterful job of making you like this character. Despite how kind of bland he is, there's nothing really unique about his personalities. He kind of comes across as your almost stereotypical shonen protagonist. Shonen being, young boys, a type of genre that a lot of manga follows. But man, this is really like, I love how they do this like half-colored look. Almost wish like the rest of this book was done this way, because I think it would have given it so much more personality. That is kind of one thing that bums me about manga. Is there's definitely one thing I will definitely say. There's definitely a bigger focus on story in manga than the art. Though no doubt art can be absolutely phenomenal in a manga. But they're not really big on coloring in manga, which is kind of unfortunate, because I think when coloring is done right, it can be absolutely beautiful and just blow your freaking minds. A good example of that is, where are you? Obviously, like Cyber Frog is, the coloring in this, like I've seen the original black and white artwork of it, and it's amazing and everything, but as a cover, to have this chromium and this coloring just takes it to another level as far as the art is concerned. And the same thing is true on the inside too. Having every page just be an amazing piece of artwork really blows your mind. And you don't really get that often with manga. You do have some, unique scenes where like, wow, that probably took a lot of time to ink. And especially for, one particular series that I will kind of do a preview at the end of this. But most of the time, the art is kind of subservient, right? There's a lot of, close-up, face shots, a lot of like expressions, which I love. I love freaking Japanese manga and anime expressions. They really kind of get the emotion of the character across, even though they are kind of at this point, tropes. Particularly, oh man, like love action shots in manga. It's like always like, bam, you look like someone's getting freaking fucked up. Really kind of love that. Yeah, in manga, what I've always noticed about manga is they always tend to have these where like it's always right before the blow hits, and then right as at the moment of the blow, right? Whereas a lot of times I feel like like this is more like American manga, though the view and the perspective is not, or American comics, I should say, American manga. Though the view and the perspective is not typical of American comics, in that you usually see in American comics like someone goes kapow, right, and then the guy goes flying and there's like an explosion bop, and you see that a lot. In manga, you often see more like at the point of attack, like someone's face getting like pushed in, arms getting sliced about and whatnot. It's usually not that sort of stereotypical after effect. Like these action lines, shit's really cool. Yeah, man. So really interesting reading this. I have watched the anime, and I actually think I like this more than the anime, even though this is really early in Araki's career, and his art is, especially in the next volume, his art's a little on the rough side for certain images. But I kind of, I felt like I could kind of imagine myself in his shoes, trying to make it as a manga or mangaka, I forget how they call it, but trying to make it into the industry. And so he's really like pouring his soul into this early story. At the same time, it's a simple kind of story, not too complex, but there's a lot of heart. And I can see, as he developed more and more, where his success was really come from. Because that's, I think, almost the essence of JoJo, as you both watch the anime and read through the manga, is that it has so much emotion and heart. Not every plot makes a lot of sense, and things get kind of crazy, but the feel of the characters and the emotion is there, and it really makes for a fun and great read. So yeah, totally get this. I'll put the link to Amazon down below. You can get this hardbound version, I think, for fairly cheap off Amazon, especially if it's used. And yeah, that'll be my review. And trying to get back, it's been a bit of a break since I did a review. I'm gonna put this in a different playlist, and then the next one I'm going to do, because you know this was coming, because I freaking love this manga. Yeah, that's right, dude. Berserk. Definitely gonna do this guy next. Probably pull the camera back so I can show it. But yeah, this is coming up next in the manga playlist review. Anyhow, let me know what you think. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Smack that bell for notifications and subscribe. You know, if you have any comments or suggestions for other manga, or you know, got a problem with my review, please let me know in the comments below. And I will see you next time.